Financial disclaimer. The information provided in this stream is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered as professional financial or investment advice. We are not licensed financial advisors, and the content presented here is based on our personal opinions and experiences. Investing in stocks and other financial instruments involves risk, including the potential loss of capital. Any investment decisions you make are solely your own responsibility, and you should conduct your own research and consult with a qualified financial professional before making any investment choices. The content we share on this stream may not be accurate, complete, or up to date. Market conditions and financial regulations can change rapidly, and we cannot guarantee the accuracy or reliability of the information presented. We do not endorse or promote any specific stocks, companies, or investment strategies. Any actions you take based on the content of this stream are at your own risk, and we will not be held liable for any losses or damages that may occur as a result. Always remember that past performance is not indicative of future results, and no investment is guaranteed to be profitable. Make informed decisions and consider your risk tolerance before investing any funds. By accessing and using this stream, you acknowledge and agree that we are not responsible for any investment decisions you make as a result of the content presented. You are encouraged to seek advice from qualified financial professionals for personalized guidance. Please invest responsibly and only with money you can afford to lose.
Hey man, just found the next guaranteed multi-bagger.
Hey man, you found another one? What is it this time?
Come check this out.
Okay, next please. How can I help you, young man?
We want to go all in Weight Watchers with like a management team that is up to date and stays ahead of the curve, and we plan to play it like Oprah.
Well, that's fantastic. A really smart decision, young man. We can put that checked and it's gone.
Hey everyone, welcome to Laughing Stock. Dane, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
I can hear you get a lot of notifications.
Wait, sorry, you cut out. What did you say?
Well, I cut off. I can hear you get a lot of notifications from our Discord.
Yeah, it's constantly blowing up here.
Yeah. Weight Watchers. Any comments about them?
No, I mean we were just talking a little bit. It's one of those companies that's just kind of fall out of grace there. I think the whole Oprah thing is kind of what sealed the nail in that coffin. But
yeah, she sold out, I think, and then she was admitting that she didn't lose weight naturally. She took drugs, right? Was it something like that?
yeah, from I had read.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I don't know. All that stuff's kind of it's all what you put into it, no matter what, anyways.
Yeah. But they seem to head for bankruptcy, and we're just talking. It's been around for a while, a company, so it's always sad when someone goes bankrupt. But to me, it seems like, at least from what I read, the people who are invested there are not very happy with the management team and how they have pretty much switched entirely over to just focusing on drugs and. You know, I saw some comments that they have canceled like online meetings and planning individually with people and stuff like that. So I think they have made some drastic changes that just hasn't worked out well.
Yeah, I think the writing was kind of on the wall, and this whole GLP-1 obsession that's taking the states. It's like a mixed bag. There's a lot of competition. No one really knows the long-term side effects and how long these things are going to stick. So it's and there is side effects to these things. So I think them trying to pivot straight to that and kind of gave up on their original ecosystem. I think that's a big part of it because I actually think Weight Watchers was in a good position because just to take GLP-1 drugs and not actually do any kind of physical exercise and diet alongside it makes no sense to me. It's not going to actually fix the issue if you're trying to lose weight or just get healthier in general. So to kind of pivot to just doing the drugs and like most companies, which just prescribe it or offer it essentially. I actually
Yeah.
think Weight Watchers had something there, but I guess not.
No, and but I'm sure Oprah is happy though.
Well, I don't think she's struggling.
No, I there was a lot of comments about her and how she sold at the right time and all that stuff. But
Well, I mean, that's one of the things about insiders. I mean, if you were following this company and you saw Oprah sell like that, I mean, she's a big part of it and was. So
yeah,
if that doesn't kind of throw a red flag to you.
and she sold out a long time ago. It's at least a year, right?
Yeah, because that was where it initially had kind of dropped, and
Yeah,
then I remember I had looked at it around there, and I I can't remember. I might have invested in this at one point.
it's in my tracker sheet.
Either that or I definitely looked at it. I don't remember if I actually bought it or not, but
Yeah,
it had a little bit of a run up in 23, but then
yeah.
since then it's just kind of been falling off. And I think the whole like Hims and all that, those kind of companies that are offering GLP drugs, I think that really just kind of put a nail in the coffin on this.
Yeah. It's down to 13 cents now, and market cap is below. What is it? Market cap is 10 million. So
Oof. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
they are
down.
not in a good position.
Yeah, I mean, it's at this point. I mean, even if you look at the chart, I mean, the crazy thing is that back in October, I mean, there was a couple 100 million shares that moved.
Yeah,
So some people lost a couple $100 million there.
yeah. and then the price went up to 220 from 70 cent, and it came straight down again almost.
Right. So
Yeah, rough.
I think that was as Buffett calls it, the dead cat bounce.
Yeah. I was looking at my weekly movers yesterday, Dane, and I was thinking like that's also a good indicator of how things are going, right? Because we saw when there was really chaotic. I had, like I said on the stream, also 2,500 tickers in there, and then the next week I had more than 1,000 tickers in there, and now this week I saw I had less than 1,000. It was 600 something, which is still a lot. But what does that tell you anything? Do you
week,
get any info from
somewhat
from
normal.
that?
Sorry, I didn't hear the last thing you said. I don't know if it's. I don't know if it's cut on the stream or if it's just for me.
Oh, hold on. Let me check if everything is. Hold on. I just need to. Do you get an echo or something, or?
No. Otherwise, you sound fine. I just occasionally just kind of like you're like you're mid sentence and it stops. But I honestly, it's probably just on my side.
Okay. Yeah, I said like in the weekly mover sheet, I'm gone from in 3 weeks or whatever it is now, from 2,500 tickers to around 600, which is still a high number, but far less than 2.5. And I was just like, do you get anything out from information like that, like in the sheets that we already have, in terms of swing trading and situational awareness and all that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I've been paying attention to my market strength, and on that one, most of my metrics, it looks pretty even. It doesn't look like we're decreasing much from here, but we haven't really bounced back all that much. There has been some days that have looked decent, and actually, I haven't been updating the weekly one in my original tracker sheet much because I just been more focused on daily and insiders. If I do look at that for value, and I actually just rebuilt my weekly one to pull, so I don't really have I haven't really been looking at the numbers, and I'll be watching it though as we go forward here. But overall, just the market strength to me looks like we are just kind of like in that I don't know. I mean, if you look at like one of the charts or anything like that, I mean, it's down a smidge this week. It looks like, but
Yeah.
it doesn't look like, it doesn't look like as destructive as it has in the past few weeks, but it also doesn't look like we've really bounced back at all.
No, there's
So I don't
definitely
know.
no.
This might be the new range.
Yeah. And then you will get eventually less and less tickers coming into the weekly moves because things are going. I mean, things doesn't drop as much as they do initially every week, So it's also natural that you get a little bit less, but still, we went from a really high number there to I think it's still a high number, but and another thing I see is like I get a lot of companies now with tiny market caps. So
Yeah.
people are struggling, like Weight Watchers.
Yeah, well, I think like we've kind of talked about is, not only is just a lot of pulled out of the indexes in terms of actual cash flows, but I also think just with the interest rates where they've been for, a couple years now, any of these companies that have kind of been able to kind of skirt around bankruptcy, it's really tough right now to do that. And all of them that are over levered are pretty much already, in a position where they could go bankrupt. That like that's happening. And I've seen quite a few people argue that a big part of the index pullback is hedge funds and stuff deleveraging, stuff that was, 10 to 1 levered, they all got rid of their leverage because they knew they were going to blow up. So,
Yeah.
and I don't know how much of that's true, but I've seen people speculate, on X and wherever essentially.
Yeah. I see
But that
so
could be a
many.
big part of this pullback.
Sorry?
I was just saying that could be a big part of this pullback is those.
Yeah. I try to stay away from a lot of accounts on Twitter and stuff like that and block out a lot of the noise. And I think I have, improved a lot in that way that I also get to know the ones I follow a bit more, and I manage to cut them off if I like think they are, a lot of times just posting things for clicks and stuff like that. But I still see a lot of different opinions, and people are trying to explain like, oh, could this be what's going on? Could this be the next thing? And I've seen this week also a lot of people talking about this and this and this sector is going to be hot moving forward and trying to be early there. But I'm thinking like just block out everything right now because no one's gonna know. And like we have said before, you have built your market indicator sheet. Now I have some methods that I'm tracking to follow things, and I think if people watching the stream also find a system to do that, maybe you can just look at the graphs actually also. You will get a lot of hints soon enough. Maybe you're not the earliest one when things starts to move, but I think you will have enough indicators to see what starts to move and not. Don't you agree?
Yeah, and I mean, even as simple as something like, I'm just looking at like the NASDAQ composite right now, and even something as simple as just seeing when the 10-day moving average is over the 20.
Yeah.
And like it's touched it in this past downtrend, but never actually crossed over it, and now it's quite below the 20.
Yeah.
So something as simple as that, it just goes to show you that at least there's inflows and not just complete outflows. So
Yeah. But
and
I mean,
I will
like,
say sorry, what were you saying?
Yeah, I don't remember if it was last weekend or the one previous, but I said that I heard from my broker in Norway. They said they were having record volume numbers, and I saw a lot of people, even people at my work, said like, oh, I'm gonna buy now, I'm gonna buy when everything is down. I was thinking like, okay, I'm gonna wait a bit more, and because I took that as a sign for everyone is just being too early. If everyone does this now, I should wait a bit longer. And if you did buy back then, maybe with if you have a long horizon, you will have made a good deal. But the market has just continued to fall off.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely depends on your time horizon, and
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the S&P total return right now. So we're down 10% almost on the S&P this year, but we had talked about it before, especially when it was down like 15% or what it was. That only happens, or 20% or whatever the heck it was from the high. Um, it's only happened a few times in history. So
Yeah.
if you do look at it from that perspective, yes, if your time horizon's not like, if you're not like retiring, right away, um, it would make sense actually to start to buy into things here because you are getting things discounted, especially um, compared to like the long haul. And
Yeah.
it's just part of the averaging in strategy. I mean, if you have cash sitting around, it's probably not a bad time to throw it in, but it's in like that's why I said if it goes down from here and you throw it in here, at least you're getting in, well below where we've been.
Yeah. I just
I have
feel
a
like
hard time believing these markets aren't going to recover. I think no matter what, it all depends on how much pressure gets put on stuff. And yes, I do think there's going to be some big changes in the world economy, no matter what. From this, I think things have fundamentally changed, and we're entering kind of the next era of whatever we're going into. I mean, it's always easier to look back and kind of see where we were and how things are, but I think things can only stay in the current trend for so long, and we're past that now. So we'll have to see kind of how things emerge from here.
yeah. I just hope a lot of people didn't buy that dip and then they sell now, because things start to continue to go down, because that
Yeah.
would be like the proper
I
mistake.
mean, at this point, if you've held through any of this drop, just hold it, because at
Yeah,
this
just
point,
you're too
it
late
will
there.
all come back. It's
Yeah.
how long it takes, who knows, but um, you know,
Yeah.
and this is also too, like, if anybody's got like a shorter time horizon because they're like closer to retirement. Well, I mean, I hope your fiduciary would have had you like more responsibly spread out across different things, not just in the stock market. But
Yeah. Yeah, that would suck to get this drop now straight before, because that can take years to get back in a fund.
I mean, same thing though. Hopefully, you have enough in your retirement that even if it dropped right now, you could just live off that and just let it
Yeah.
recover.
Yeah.
It's always, I mean, that would be the better option.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see. It sounds like they're pushing to try and get interest rates down. I don't know if you can physically do that with inflation, where it's at, but
I saw there was a hedge fund shorting Donald Trump's company. Did you see that?
which one?
No, I didn't. I just read the headline. It was in the newspaper here, and he was or they his company were looking if they should sue them for market manipulation. It was a big hedge fund. I don't remember. I didn't see the name of it though. But they were shorting his company DJT, right?
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if there's any um truth to that, or if they're just shorting because they think it's worth a short.
Yeah.
I think you could argue, and it was worth $50. It's probably not actually worth $50.
Yeah. And I think it will be hard to sue them for shorting his company, at least.
Yeah.
For market
And
manipulation.
I mean, you could turn that around too and say people that invested in it were investing to, basically give him money
Yeah.
without like, actually giving it to him.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm sure it goes both ways.
Yeah.
It always seems to get messy when politics get involved.
Yeah, for sure. I'm jumping into my sheet here now, just to show you what I meant earlier. Like, look at this column here, my market cap column. Light pink is either too little in a market cap or too high, and I have it sorted for like a negative move for the last 16 weeks. I think I have it, or if it's 6 months. So naturally, you're gonna get like the smaller companies at top here, but there's a lot of tiny market caps now in this weekly mover sheet, and things are just like I don't remember that I've seen this before, but I did not do this during COVID, you know. You didn't have any sheets like this during COVID either, Dane, did you?
No, not like I mean, that was I mean towards the end of it, yes, but not initially. I mean, initially that's when I was just starting to start looking at investing and everything anyways.
Yeah. No, so it's just a lot, and like you said last time also, I feel like a lot of these companies, yeah, they are maybe cheap now, but I'm not sure if I feel confident investing in a lot of these even right now.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, we're not in the environment where, during COVID it was super low interest rates. So the chance of
Yeah.
like these low companies coming back, it was pretty good, to be honest. You could take
Yeah.
you could take pretty risky bets on some of those, but here if you just do the simple math, I mean, some of these are going to survive for just only a few months,
Yeah.
in perfect conditions.
Yeah. All right. We got a request from Tech in Discord, right? For the stream today, to pull up. How do you say that ticker, Dane? Do you say you?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I
So
just call it Energy Fuels Inc. I mean,
yeah.
that's probably easier.
And we were talking like maybe we should try to let's see where we are going with it, but we will try to dive into the uranium space a bit, at least for the stream today. But let's first just look at the I know you didn't take any swing trades this week, but I took a couple. I just want to go through them very quickly, and if you saw something or anything like that, let's just get that out of the way, and we can go into the uranium stuff later.
Okay.
I took this week. I took actually two, which was again stupid in the end. But one was New Gold. Gold was doing pretty good, right? And I saw New Gold was up on the day, and I tried to take them, and it started off well, but then the next day I got stopped out, and it didn't work out. New Gold still looks, good on a lot of things, but like we have repeated 100 times now, it's just not a good environment for these types of things. So I took it because I wanted to test some things out, and also gold has been pretty strong. So if you want to take something, my thinking was that gold would be maybe something that would hold, but it didn't. And like we have discussed before, the stops has been a bit tighter and the position size a bit smaller, so it's not like a big loss or anything for me, so I'm okay with it. And another one was MBOT, which actually just dipped down. It made me got stopped out, but then it bounced up to my entry level again now, which was here 249. So I'm just watching this still. Okay, it's not a clear breakout, so I'm just gonna keep it on the watch list, I think. I think that's what I saw this week. I was also a bit curious on some of the quantum names. But then Nvidia had a big drop, and a lot of these just went down bad. How did Nvidia do later in the week?
I'm not sure. Actually, I'll pull them up right now. I mean, they've been in this pretty steady downtrend
Yeah.
from the all-time highs.
Yeah. But
That's
did
kind of
you
crazy. They
see
dropped all the
anything?
way to 86. Wow.
Yeah, it dropped 86.
Yeah, the one thing I'm curious on is from what I had read. I know the U.S. had banned sales to China specifically, but I thought number one it was limited before, and also I had heard that China was buying it from other countries. Like other countries would buy and then they would just sell them to China. So to be honest, it's not. I don't really think it would hurt. I don't really think you're going to be able to stop them from getting sold to China in some way. I think they're going to get their hands on them if they really want them.
Yeah. I did also see AREN. I posted this in the Discord that they had this good day here, which was actually a clear breakout on the chart. That was after earnings though, so it would be hard to be in it just before earnings, because that's not usually what I do at least. But it went up like, I think it went up 50%. And then it came
Yeah,
down a
I
bit
mean,
again.
I have seen some strong names, but I've also seen the one thing I noticed this week in particular on my market strength. Sorry, what'd you say?
No, I just said that it went a bit back again the next day, you know, but this was maybe the clearest breakout I saw this week.
Yeah, I mean, UAMI was definitely a good bait
Oh, yeah.
breakout. I have VOXR, Vox Royalty Corp was another one. I'm watching June, Curie, Yala again. Looked like Yala was like possibly breaking out again.
Oh, don't give me that ticker again. Remember last time?
What else?
Yeah, Curie looks good again.
I feel like there was one other name I remember looked pretty good. Yeah. AV or AEVA again looks decent, and then IDR. I mean, they're right there, you know.
Yeah, but still, you know, most of these won't work, even if they do break out right now.
Well, and that was what I was gonna say is the one thing I noticed on my market strength this week comparative to most other weeks is yes, there is a few breakouts that are working, but there was also quite a few that failed, as
Yeah.
in like you'd get in and they would fail on the same day.
Yeah.
So that just it makes me hesitant because you know until that ratio starts to work in our favors. And like I said, right now it's not like you're even after like if it was a swing trade, you know, you might only get one or two that actually like works out. So it's got to be really good percentages.
Yeah,
So I'm very hesitant to do anything still just yet.
I think that's the right play. Yeah, I think
And
that's
looking
it.
at my numbers, I made money last month. So
Sorry?
I'll take that for. I said technically with when I was looking at my money or my stuff, since I'd only made a few trades, technically I made money over the past month.
Yeah, which is great, right?
Yeah, I'll take. Yeah, I won't. I'll take not a loss. That's
Yeah.
fine with me. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
so
basically nothing, but I'll take it.
maybe we should just spend the rest of the stream doing this uranium theme then.
Yeah, we could do that. I mean, I'm sure there's some other names. There's things I've had pulled up just to stay interested. I mean, same sectors are doing well. Miners are up.
Yeah.
Tax up. I saw oil looks like it had pulled, or it had strengthened a little bit. Looks like the prices had gone up a smidge. I just when I was looking at my dashboard, that was one of the things that was green. What else?
Just checking the dashboard.
I see home builders look like they've been doing okay, and I know that's a huge thing. Like kind of in all first world nations is to just kind of keep increasing the home supplies.
Yeah.
Coal's another one that's had a bit of a pretty strong recovery here.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's down, but you know, in the past week or two, it's had a bit of a jump.
I saw manpower in my dashboard is down 19%. So that was a big drop on earnings. That chart looks not very good.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there.
Yeah.
Yeah, other than that, nothing too crazy is going on.
No. So
And it was it was a short week too. So
yeah, it was a shorter week. Friday also. I think Monday and Tuesday will be open, right?
yes,
Yeah.
they will be.
So next week will be normal. Tech was in the Discord asking us to do some conversation about this UUUU ticket, right? And he also posted a Reddit article. I'm just gonna pull it up here so people can see it. But to summarize it, he has summarized his here. This guy is thinking it's worth at least $60 per share in the next 5 years, and he wouldn't be surprised if they are, over 100, which is very. It's. I think when he wrote it, this was worth 6 per share, and now it's 4, right?
Almost 4.95.
Almost 5, yeah. So he has a long horizon though, and I read through it yesterday, and he was talking a lot about a lot of things that potentially can happen, but also explain like they have some potential grip on the market if a few things happens, right? So that was the exciting part here. What have you seen with them, Dane? Did you hear me?
No, sorry, I can't hear what you're saying. Number one, I have a screaming child in the background, and
Yeah.
I think you cut off. Sorry,
Alright.
sorry about that on the stream. I can't do anything about that right now.
No, that's all good. I was just saying, like, according to that Reddit article, he said they have potential a good grip of the market if some certain things happen in the future. And have you read anything about them?
Yeah, once again, you're cutting out. I don't know if that's on the stream or just you.
Oh, really? Let me check my
Yeah, it might.
cables.
Like I said, I can't. Is anybody in the stream here? Because if you guys hear cutting out, let us know, please. I don't know if it's just me. It could just be me. But
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, one thing, no matter what, when I look at this, I've been following Cuppy for a long time. Cuppy obviously played this, and he said he thought it had gotten to where it was fairly valued at one point based on their actual revenues generated from uranium. But
Yeah.
the more interesting thing when I look at sorry, the more interesting thing when I look at this one is the heavy minerals play.
Yeah.
The going forward right now, I mean, don't get me wrong, clean balance sheet. One of the only uranium producers. So just on that, they're in decent shape. But the more important thing is they just had a deal with CC or Chemers or however you say that company, and they're forging a strategic alliance to strengthen U.S. rare earth and critical mineral supply chains. The partnership will leverage both companies' geographic and operational strengths. Energy Fuels is developing major mineral sands projects in Madagascar, Brazil, and Australia, set to yield rare earth, titanium, ilmenite, and zircon in the coming years. And Chemers is processing heavy mineral sands in Florida and Georgia. So this collaboration comes as the United States and other Western countries seek to weaken China's dominance in the global market for rare earth elements. These are a group of 17 metals used to make electric vehicles, fighter jets, wind turbines, and consumer electronics. As of right now, China produces 60% of the world's mined rare earth minerals. They control 91% of refining activity, and it oversees 94% of the production of magnets, which are a key product made with rare earths. So basically, like there's a U.S. Senator John Curtis saying that the United States can't rely on adversaries for the natural resources essentially to our economy and national security, and they said we should be leading the way in producing critical minerals. After all, we do it better and cleaner than anyone else. So I think that's the real play here. And if you look at the most recent news article on Seeking Alpha, basically people are saying that, like as of right now, there can't even be a war fought between China and the US because there's no way that would continue to last just based on the fact that we don't have any of the minerals to keep keeping up with something like that. And you can see UUU's trading pretty high, and especially in the last 2 days, they're saying it's developed the technical ability needed to commercially produce rare earth oxides. And it can do this at scale through expansion of its existing capability at its White Mesa mill in Utah. So that's another thing. Energy Fuels said it currently has the commercial capacity to process up to 10,000 metric tons of monazite concentrate and produce as much as 1,000 tons of NdPr oxide, along with other heavy samarian concentrates in Utah. It said it also thinks it could increase that capacity to process 60,000 tons in the coming years, and is in the process of updating the 2024 study on the planned expansion of rare earth elements coming out of White Mesa. So I think on top of the fact the Trump administration launched a Section 232 investigation on imports of processed critical minerals, including rare earths, and anything produced by companies in the U.S. So I don't know. I think there's a huge chance that they could directly benefit from this, and it would be to the best interest of the United States national security to work on this and to work with these companies.
Yeah.
I mean, 60,000 tons is a huge change. I'm not sure. I was reading another article and they were talking about the actual monzonite or whatever it's called, and that they're one of the few that actually have the like rights to be able to actually do it. So that's another thing.
Yeah. And these guys are talking about like the company can get up to speed very quickly if they want to, you know, or if they have to, they can turn around quickly and start to do this. But in a normal situation, it would probably take a little bit more time. But the capacity and the infrastructure is there, you know.
Right, and you know, just in the fact that if there continues to be a pressure on tariffs through China, and for instance, I know one of China's biggest cards to hold would be they could pull the rare earth minerals, you know, in terms of trade. If they were to do something like that, a company like this that had anything, I mean, the price would skyrocket on these. So they would be the only ones essentially providing, you know, to everywhere else, you know, who needs it. So like I said, I don't think that would hold for very long. I think, you know, a deal will be made no matter what. It is highly unadvantageous to either side to do such a thing. We'll see. You know, like I said, I don't know what anyone at the tops are thinking in terms of trying to push the other one kind of into,
Yeah,
you know, tapping out, but we'll see. But I think right here, you know, I look at the chart for UU. If you pull that up, I mean, it looks strong to me. There's a lot of buying pressure coming in.
Yeah, I was about to say there's a lot of volume coming in, and they have earnings in 13 days. But who knows what will happen then in terms of price? But if you know, if you ignore the most common earnings, maybe they get some commentary on guidance, future guidance, which would be good here, because this would be a little bit of a longer term play, right?
Yeah, but in terms of earnings, I have a hard time thinking earnings would be a negative story here, because no matter what the numbers are for earnings, that's coming from the uranium side of things, which we kind of know where that's at, and that's not really as big of a concern. Yes, last year was really strong, you know, and they were really profitable last year. So this year, obviously, it's pulled back, which is why you see such a huge pullback in the price in general. But earnings are going to be talking about guidance, like you said, towards this other play essentially. And I think just the more that word gets out, the more potential's there, the longer this tariff fight goes on. I think it's just more advantageous for them. So as of now, I think we're kind of in the early part of this narrative. So I like it for that reason more specifically than just the Reddit post and I mean, you know, being 6 months old, 6 months, a lot's changed. I mean, you know, and he was talking, you know, 6 months is what, November of last year or October.
Yeah.
So it was even there. I mean, it was already higher, you know, at that point. It's pulled back from there.
Yeah, and you mentioned copy. If you're not familiar with copy, go and check his stuff out. He has written on his website, and he's very active on Twitter and stuff like that, because he was very big into uranium. When was it, like last year?
Yeah, and
I mean,
I just wanted to pull up.
He was in really good way before that, because he played that uptrend in uranium perfectly, I think. But I think he has said now that he has sold out of a lot of these things, but that he's still interested in and monitoring the situation, and will be tempted to jump back in if he sees something interesting and moving again, you know.
And if you go onto the podcast, the Market Huddle, he had some
Yeah.
really good interviews on there, and you'll see them because they're under Cuppy, so you'll know that's the right one.
Yeah. So he
But
you can get a lot of
that's great
information.
info on it.
Sorry?
I was just saying, yeah, it's great info on it
Yeah,
just
very.
from those.
Yeah. And if you look at the what was the ticker I saw for the euro, right? If you look at this ETF, I think he was in it from at least 2023 till up here, you know. I think he managed that play very well, and you know, he was also very vocal about it before it started to make a move, and during the move itself he was talking a lot about his thinking about them. I think he has even written on his website some articles where he explains his thinking. So that would be some part of the research that would be smart to do, I think, if you want to invest here again.
Yeah, and also Tech, just to go over, I mean, right now I have them trading pretty high to book value, but the more important thing here is revenues have really jumped up this year. Specifically, they spent a lot on capital expenditure, and they also, it looks like they had an acquisition, which accounts to about $46 million. So with that being said, their EBITDA this year, for instance, was minus 45, and this is trailing 12 months, just so you know. So
Dane,
it's
will
part
you
of
share
last
your
year.
screen, Dane?
Yeah, I can share it.
Because Y Sheets, they don't have this ticker for some reason, so we're jumping over to your screen now, so people can see the numbers.
Yeah, let me know when you're set, because I got
I
it.
think we are good already.
Okay. So yeah, you can see here. I'm sorry if I'm blocking anything. I'm trying to see on the oh, hit play here. That'll help. So I'm just trying to get my other screen up to date. Okay, so we can see. Okay, so here this 29 million and 17 million here, even as 46 million. So really, this year actually was more like break even if you subtract those numbers out. Yes, now it doesn't have what they gained last year, which was a particularly good year out of all things. But revenues went from 38 million to 78 million. If we go over to the balance sheet here, they got 58 million around in excess cash in short terms, and no debt. They have liabilities, but like I said, super clean balance sheet. I did see their share counts even higher than this 197, so the share count is steadily going up. But in terms of
210,
balance
right?
sheet and everything, yeah, I think 210 was the number I saw on Yahoo, so I would take that number over the one in here. And I'll probably get clarification once this next earnings report come out, because it will update all this. There's been some insider buying. I saw the CEO, he had bought not a ton, it's like 50,000 or something like that over in March of this year. So, but not a bad thing to see, obviously.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I mean that's the main things I see. So previously on the balance sheet, otherwise not a bad year. It's kind of like almost like a break even year. Probably more similar to what it was in 2021. But also too with that capital expenditure and that kind of thing, in a company that's sitting on cash, that just goes to show you that they could start to pivot the business or this money that's getting put in now will benefit them in the long run.
Yeah.
So could be a long term play here. I'll definitely interested to follow this one.
Hey Dane, we got a comment from Value. Value's in here. He's saying there's some weird issues with the stream. It plays 5-second blocks, then buffers, even at low quality settings. Probably YouTube being weird. Other videos seem to be okay. Maybe YouTube is just trying to optimize it while it is live. So we have some issues today then.
Yeah, I wonder if that's why it's cutting out.
Yeah. It says
I keep
excellent on my the YouTube Studios thing. It says excellent. So I'm not sure what's going on. Sorry about that.
Well, hopefully, once we upload it all, it'll be all together.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, he's saying that too, but I have it up on my phone and it seems to be running okay. Like I'm watching on my phone,
Yeah. I don't know
and
what's going
I have
on.
it at high quality on here too.
Yeah, and everything on my end seems like it's working well,
Well,
but
either way,
obviously.
maybe hopefully when we upload it, it seems okay.
Yeah.
Sorry guys, we apologize if there's stutter.
I was thinking, Dane, does this remind you a little bit on of the situation USEG is in right now?
Um, Possibly. I mean, they're pivoting to helium, which is, a different idea on that. And they maybe have more to gain, especially if they're able to really pivot and start getting some of these rare minerals that we don't have.
Yeah. But in terms of both companies has a pretty clean balance sheet. There's been some insider purchases. There's something in the future to maybe look forward to. Like this is kind of what you gets you a bit excited for deep value plays. But one of the interesting thing that I found also was, I talked about my sheet last time, the new one I made, and before the stream now I made another theme with the uranium, and that group altogether was actually, it's still low performing, but it's like the third highest performing of all the groups I have right now. So that means there's some momentum there right now, which you also saw on the chart.
Yeah, I'm also just as I'm reading through here too. It sounds like there's actually only a few of the minerals that they could possibly benefit, especially if they make a mineral deal with Ukraine, which it looks like that is going through now. Any particular part of the earth will have some amount of these 90 in it. Your backyard is more positive. So I'm just trying to read this to get up to speed on what this guy's. This is from he's the writer from Seeking. This is another article he had written.
Yeah. The last sentence there.
Yeah, so the reason I wanted to read that was because there's a little bit of a argument going back and forth, not really an argument, but just these guys spitballing on how much the Ukraine deal would actually affect it. So basically he's saying he doesn't think it would. He said maybe the rare earth minerals aren't worth it, but the Chinese titanium, graphite, and lithium are. So I'm thinking actually what he's saying is that it still would benefit UUUU because going actually in and paying and extracting the minerals, it's not really that much of a cost. It's so costly to do that in Ukraine that it might not be as beneficial as they're making it out to be.
Yeah. Okay.
Because basically what they're saying is those rare earth minerals are technically kind of everywhere. Like you could kind of mine anywhere and get them. Like, yeah, there is deposits of these things around, but it's more like you just have to mine and strip these things from the rock and everything to get these out. So
Yeah.
so anybody in the position to do it and do it soon is probably better off than some, future pipe dream.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of stands. And to be honest, me, I'm following the market. The charts are saying people are buying, which makes me think that smart money probably knows that this is where good chances people start developing it with these guys.
Yeah. It was interesting to see the volume coming in from the bottom there on the UUU chart.
Yeah, because I mind, there's strong volume here. So, and this is pushed all the way back from 320, which I know correlates with just the market drop in general, but usually don't see this much strength coming into something off that unless there's a reason.
Yeah.
It did touch the 50, the 100. It touched the 100-day moving average. It didn't quite break up to the 200,
the
but if it breaks
100.
out from here, this could go high.
Yeah. And maybe that will happen then on earnings in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and like I said, with the future guidance, who knows? That could be the key to kind of figuring out where this is going to go. And I believe in after hours that this was up. I can't remember. So this got to 502, 503 in after hours. So
Yeah.
it's hovering right around that 100-day moving average.
Which is also interesting.
And more than double average volume.
Yeah. Yeah, that volume from yesterday is pretty, or Thursday. That's a lot.
Well, Thursday and Wednesday, to be honest.
Yeah, Wednesday too.
And even before that, think about it, it's 10 million shares on Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday was a small down day, but
and there's news on. You mind? Should I switch back to my screen now? Then I think yours is a bit blurry.
What'd you say?
You mind? Should I switch back to my screen?
Yeah, here I'll take off the presenting here.
I was just looking at some news from TradingView here. It says Energy Fuel positions to fill critical mineral supply gaps in the US, which is kind of what that article said, right?
Yes.
And this is probably why you saw the volume coming in those days. Poised to produce 6 of 7 rare earth oxides, now subject to Chinese export controls at scale. There's a lot of news coming in here. Four days ago, Energy Fuel signs ore purchase deal with Western Uranium. That's the asset purchase you talked about, or?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is making me look at Tremors, which is CC is the ticker. That's the other one that's working with strategically with them.
Which ticker?
It's just CC.
CC, okay.
This one looks rough. Even though they made this mineral deal, they're in a much more rough position. I'm surprised. I've never looked at them before. I'm surprised.
Yeah, I I have to say I never looked into the uranium space either. But I knew I follow copy, right? So I knew there was something going on there, but I was always thinking I'm a bit late to the party.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I've looked into it back when it was low, and you know, I didn't know enough about to kind of push for it, and I hadn't heard his thesis, which maybe I would have, you know, changed my opinion on it at the time. But um, I remember it was just tough to call it, just because it was all on how much, you know, they would actually increase in revenues, and they did get that, but at the time it didn't seem so obvious, which I mean
yeah,
most of these things don't, you know.
yeah.
Yeah, CC's got a lot of debt. They're not a clean balance sheet at all. You know, EV's 5 billion with a market cap of 1.6 billion.
Oh yeah.
So they may be strategically aligned, but they are not in the same management structure as UUU is.
Yeah. I saw when I did some research to create the group or the theme. There's a large company in Kazakhstan that also are dealing with the uranium. But I didn't look into them because in Y sheets I couldn't pull them up and all that stuff. But I have another company here, CCJ, which is Cameco Corporation. They are much larger company, almost at 18 billion in market cap. So that would be a very different play than you know, energy fuels.
Yeah, what here I can pull them up too. What was it, CCJ?
Yeah, CCJ.
Yeah, another thing too, I'm looking at Kemers, like or however you say their name, and they've been buying shares back, which maybe that makes sense. But they're still paying a dividend, and like they are heavily in debt.
Yeah.
It just
Was
one of
that
those really
CC?
questionable management teams.
Yeah, and that chart looks ugly too on them.
Yeah, I mean, they're liquidity wise, they're gonna probably go bankrupt.
Yeah.
They better hope that rare minerals turn around quick.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta adjust my numbers for CJ. Where's CCJ? Where did you say they were out of?
Canada. Did you find them?
Yeah, I got them. I just had to update my numbers because they file yearly, so it was messing with my numbers.
Okay. I think this would be a very different play than what we just discussed with energy fuels.
Yeah, them being so big, I don't know.
Yeah.
This isn't really.
And you know, they have 16 cents in dividend here, so maybe people are after the dividend here. It's not that high even, but it has gone up for the last year, so
Yeah, but I mean, 16 cents on a $60 or $40 share price.
it's not a lot.
I mean, it's not really the return I would. I mean, that's like you can get U.S. Treasury bonds and do better than that.
Yeah. And not very impressive with the cash generation numbers even, and also the assets, like they score very poorly on a lot of these things, and but they show up as safe, but they do have a lot of debt even. But I guess this is the biggest one in you know, in your part of the world then.
Yeah, and another big thing too is now you're dealing with the tariffs between what's going to happen between Canada and the United States. I don't think
Yeah,
this tariffs will stay for long, but it's something that gets thrown into the equation too, which
yeah,
it's like impossible to predict these things.
yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I mean, I still think UUU is probably the better play of the ones that I've seen.
Yeah, I agree.
Just gonna go to my
I thought I
industry
had
filter and see.
I thought I had pulled up another name also, but I see the numbers again. Because they are from Canada, all of them. I get some messed up numbers.
There's been some good insider buying in the ticker EU.
Yeah, I see. I can't do anything with these. It's a bit weird. I have to message Y Sheets and let them know because I would think they would have better numbers on these stuff.
Yeah, I'm surprised you don't have some of these ones. I mean,
Yeah, I agree. That's a bit weird. So yeah, sorry for that, but I didn't even have you, but what do you think though, Dane? Would you wait and look at the future guidance before you get really interested in there, or would you try to get in now when they have a little bit of momentum and hope for a good earnings report?
I mean, I kind of think you have to get in sooner than later if you want to do it. So,
Yeah. But I also think in this case I would still use a stop loss.
I mean, I'm always using the stop loss now.
Yeah.
I'm looking at
And
EU. The numbers don't look too promising, but they have a clean balance sheet, or pretty clean. It's not perfect, um, but they're not generating any cash really. So I don't know.
yeah, okay.
I mean, yeah, I'm just trying to look through. I don't see any other uranium plays that look nearly as strong. So
No, agreed. From what I've seen at least. I had them there was someone on the London exchange that has similar charts than what Energy Fuels had. But once again, I couldn't pull them up, but I can pull up the charts. Seems like they all have a little bit of a bounce since around beginning of April.
yeah, UUU is the only one too. Like none of them really are generating a ton of cash right now, or any cash really for that matter. But they do have a positive like EBITDA to EV ratio. So I mean, you're just looking at typical value. That's what I see, and I agree. There's a play there. I'll say that.
Yeah. And
So
we have
typical with value, if you do decide to go in here, you probably arguably have to do it soon because I think the story is going to take off quick. And then you take the risk, though, going in right before earnings and whatnot, and seeing what true future guidance is. And the other thing too is, news and things on these can change. If all of a sudden the tariffs drop between the U.S. and China, obviously, then probably the speed to get these rare earth minerals will slow down a little bit. I still think no matter what, I think it's similar to like the CHIPS Act and stuff like that, that like we're going to push to get semiconductors and certain industries back into the United States more heavily, which I think is important. I can see why that should be a goal. So I
yeah.
don't think it's not going to happen. I just that's what I see.
I don't know if that guy wrote that article after the earnings they had in October, or if it was before that one. But they do have a story though in TradingView, at least, to miss on the estimates, but you still find that even on missed earnings the stock moves up, and I'm just assuming that that's on some future guidance, you know. And then you can also argue from end of December where they had a pretty consistent drop down to now at the beginning of April. If you look at the entire market, that's what kind of happened, right?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Maybe not from November, but beginning of December, you see they start to decline a lot, and they've just fallen ever since. And now on a little bit of a rebound path here. So yeah, it's interesting for sure. Tech, I think. Let us know though, and you know, we love when people are throwing tickers at us that we can investigate a bit. And I'm sorry today for the stream seems to lack a bit of quality, and also my sheets are not pulling up the right data and stuff like that. So maybe it wasn't the best stuff, but hopefully you can come with some comments as well, Tech, or in the Discord or on the video. You know, so we can address some top you know, questions you have or anything like that. If we are missing something, you know, let us know so we can continue the discussion.
Yeah, and the other thing too is, you know, like we've said, I think the mining sector is really obviously the strongest ones right now, and
Yeah.
it's kind of an oddball mining play because it's, you know, it's uranium, but we're looking at the potential for them to be able to become more mining for rare earth minerals. And um, I think it's super important. So I do think I think there's more excitement probably towards this than most people are probably giving it credit for at the moment.
Yeah.
So thanks, Tech, for pointing it out.
Yeah, for sure. I will the guy on Reddit though, he pointed out a lot of the things that we have been talking about as well, but also he posted his position. So, and you know, it's a big position by all means, but it's not like a super big position. But that's also something to take into consideration when you read about someone's thoughts. You know, how much they are invested in this and stuff like that. Because I saw he was in the article comparing this to a lot of things, like he say, for example, if you missed the start of space stock frenzy a few months back, here's your next chance, like stuff like that. Be a bit careful to compare things and sectors like this, because you know, I'm not saying that it won't happen. It's just I never like when you compare it to things, like just because something has happened doesn't mean that this will, you know, copy any moves like that. So and like Dane said earlier, this is half a year ago, and the facts is that it has dropped from 6 to 5 since then, and it dropped even to 3. So so far that has not played out, but it doesn't mean that it won't in the future. Hopefully though, Tech, we will get some more information on the next earnings report on where they are in the field and everything like that, you know, and their thoughts about the future as well.
Yeah, and it's going to be kind of volatile. The tough part about this one is the fact that it's already up right now. You know, typically if we're looking at doing a trade, you want to get in kind of yesterday or Thursday,
Yeah.
I should say. So it's a little bit late, so I might wait for it to maybe possibly pull back and consolidate. I'll see, you know, maybe on Monday it jumps right away, and maybe you could take a position there. The way I would play this if I do is I'd probably take a pretty small position, maybe just a few percent, and just see what we can do. Because I try to keep my risk between value and swing trading about the same, actually, even though it's all about, you know, your time span. So I would probably take a smaller position and then just have a bigger stop loss, so then that way hopefully I can hold it, and then we'll see. And if it takes off, great.
Yeah.
Not saying I will take a position. I gotta think more on it, but from what I see, I can see the play. I can see why it makes sense. The volume coming in makes me think that I'm not the only one with this idea.
No.
And this is the kind of name too. One thing that Reddit always has, especially like Wall Street Bets, is you never know. You get the ape army coming.
Yeah. We can check. We can check if we see them here. Dane, one thing I saw. I have this website, Ape Wisdom, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I saw this ticker, Build a Bear, which has the ticker BBW.
Right.
And when I press it, the keywords are like a little bit weird, because I couldn't find any articles on it on Wall Street Bets. So I'm not sure if they mean this actual ticker or something else that BBW means. That also will be talked about on Reddit, I think. So sometimes these are not maybe not trustworthy, I think.
Well, it does mean something else too. So
I
it
know.
could be that they're using that acronym for something else, knowing Wall Street Bets. So
Because I found words like big and love.
yes.
and deep.
Yeah, I'm not sure 100% that's what they're referring to.
No.
But
I was just gonna see if I can find you here, but I don't see them.
But that is one of the names I feel like that pops up on there, and it's done well.
Yeah, and it's like it's a very good point. Like with this volume coming in and Reddit already aware, and Uranium also is like a space that are a lot discussed and talked about. It's still a bit controversial. So
Right.
if you see like you can use whatever website you want to track social sentiment, but if you also see the Reddit army or someone else coming into this. You're probably maybe a bit late to jump in on it, but that's going to be good for any stock, I think.
I will say, interesting enough, CC or Tremors, the one we were just looking at, is number 34, and it's jumped up 96 places, which
Yeah.
makes me think that a lot of people are looking at energy, and they're seeing the link and that they partnered with them. So I think that's probably why that name's getting all the attention it is, which would make me think that everyone's looking at UUU. So
Yeah. Yeah, true. So you see some tickers already in here that are in the space. So it's just another information to track.
all right. Did you have anything else that you wanted to go over?
No, I didn't. I just if I don't know the quality of the stream, if this made any sense to anyone watching after, but if anyone else or tech, if you have some questions, we will gladly continue the conversation about this space, because there's definitely interesting things to watch here. So on Discord or on in the comment section on the videos would be nice to know anyone's who wants to continue the conversation a bit. And I hope the stream quality was good in the end.
Yeah, I also see EU, the company we were just talking about, is also that's the third highest on here. So I do think there's a lot of people looking at these plays right here.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of interesting that that's number 3.
Yeah. Yeah, but oh yeah. I just saw they were down a bit from the last rating. I was just curious about when they start to track these things, but it's in the last 24 hours. It just says here. What is LNG? Is that also uranium? No, oil and gas. Yeah, that's.
Oh, that was the other one. I didn't mention it. But another ticker that I thought was interesting here was Heritage Insurance.
What was the ticker there?
Just HRTG. They've been pretty strong and
Oh yeah, that looks good. It looks a bit like
yeah,
OPFI, right?
yeah, a little bit. And I've been in Heritage before, and it's worked out. So
Yeah. That's some good volume for a number of days too.
right,
And see what
yeah.
sparked it
I
off,
mean, pretty
like a
much
good earnings
since
here.
mid-March they've been going up.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, but that's what I had seen. Those are probably the ones I'll be watching next week, and then yeah, we'll see on Monday. We'll see if I end up thinking it's
Yeah.
worth taking something.
Yeah.
As of now, everything on the market indicator still says to just kind of to wait. So
Yeah.
I may take that approach because so
I
far
think.
that's been working all right. And the one play that worked out for me too, like I said, the one thing I see working is day trading right now and taking quick positions and keeping your stops tight, and you're just doing a 2-for-1 ratio to succeed, and that worked. So, and I've seen that continually work. So one thing possibly to consider is maybe I'll do something like that, even on some of these names I like, even some of the value plays, for instance. Yeah, I won't capture all the move, but it's still profitable.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's on. Like I said with my two this week, it worked on the day, but then the next day I got stopped. So I was up on the day, you know.
Yeah, which is why I was saying,
Yeah.
sometimes I like to just play it like that.
Yeah.
Just lock it.
For sure. No, I think yeah, that was it for today, and yeah, I hope the stream wasn't too bad of quality in the end here. But you celebrate Easter, Dane? I want to wish everyone a happy Easter celebration.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, happy Easter,
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
So
And
enjoy the rest of everybody's weekend.
yeah.
We're finally supposed to have nice weather.
No,
So
yeah,
I'm excited for
nice.
that.
We will see you next weekend then.
All right. See you, everybody.
Bye bye.